We partnered with Accenture in 2010 to set up the FinTech Innovation Lab. And the background was obviously that we were coming out of the financial crisis of 2008. And we were hearing about a lot of FinTech activities happening on the West Coast, but we were not hearing very much in New York City. So we convened a group of bank CTOs and asked them, where do you look for new innovation? And all of them said West Coast, Boston, sometimes London. So we thought we could fix that. And what we did was go back to them with this proposal to put an accelerator program together to really focus on technology that was relevant to the big financial institutions and use the fact that New York City has one of the largest concentrations of financial institutions, a lot of domain expertise, as the building blocks to attract entrepreneurs to come to New York to build their solutions. And so we did the first program. We really didn't know what we were doing. We were sort of making it up as we went along. But everybody thought it was a worthwhile activity, and then we've continued it another 7 years after that. The key thing is you have to maintain the relationships with the financial institutions and keep the senior executives at the table focused on working with the startups, because it's the magic of that interaction is what makes the program so unique. And what happens is not just a meeting where they say hello to each other and they maybe have a cup of coffee. Everybody takes off their sales hat. The FinTech company comes in, talks about their technology, and then sits back, doesn't try to sell it, but listens to the feedback that the senior executives have. And that dialogue is really important because entrepreneurs are really great at ideas and new technology. And particularly for those that have not worked in financial services, they may not be exactly spot on when it comes to the problem that they're trying to solve. And so you often will hear a pitch from an entrepreneur about the wonderful technology, what it does, all its fabulous features, but they never talk about, here's how my technology can solve your problem. And the interaction that happens in the FinTech Hive and under this model is the bank executives actually share with the startups, well, here's what our problems are, and here's how your technology can help our problem. So that's probably the number one piece of advice for the FinTech Hive is make sure you maintain that senior sponsorship and the senior engagement, because that is what makes this program so unique. So we've had a number of the executives from Thomson Reuters come and meet with our companies, and in particular share best practices around marketing, because we have had a number of our graduates actually form partnerships with Thomson Reuters on the marketing side. And in some cases, they have invested in some of our graduates, because as a large company with established relationships, that ability to get a small fintech's innovation into a broad market rather rapidly is really a key advantage that Thomson Reuters brings to the table. As people think about innovation, the first place people's mind go to is Silicon Valley, because obviously they're the leader of innovation. But for large cities with established corporations, I think you have to think a little bit differently, and you have to look at the fact that your ability to probably replicate exactly what Silicon Valley did is, maybe you can do that, but there are other ways to go. And we certainly believe that the New York story and how New York went from really nothing in tech to the second largest is a model for large cities, particularly those with large financial institutions as one of their core sectors, to look at and to replicate. And so we started very much by saying we have this asset of a big concentrated market of companies that need technology and have major budgets and a lot of focus on technology. We also have people that work at those institutions that have deep domain expertise and know what the problems are, where the bodies are buried, and they may not have all the solutions, but that combination of that domain knowledge with an innovation is really where a lot of the magic lives, and I think is a very interesting set of things to put together in order to build a technology sector. I think we've already seen the shift from many fintechs looking to put the banks out of business to one where the fintechs are looking to partner with major financial institutions. And I think we're going to get to a world where fintechs are actually the outsourced R&D groups of large financial institutions. So therefore, the ability to have good partnerships is really important. And I think you're starting to see large institutions put in place things that make the procurement process faster, the technology process more smooth. So that's a key thing I think you're going to see going forward, is a greater focus internally at the banks around collaboration and faster onboarding of innovation. And then from a technology perspective, we're at the very beginning of what the distributed ledger and blockchain is going to be able to do with respect to back office processing efficiencies. So first, that technology has to be built out to the point where it can be robust enough to handle the volume, but then I think the opportunities are really extraordinary when it comes to what that can do for transforming industries and how people do business.